Morrison's, fresh donuts are 50p for a pack of 5. Made from scratch in-store by our bakers on Market Street. Golden brown and oozing with delicious jam. Lip-smacking treats for sharing. Family. Morrison's makes it.
Majority of stores while stocks last. Excludes online. Oh, it's a good size for a flat this close to town, isn't it?
Shh, hang on. The house is trying to communicate with me. Yes? Really? Okay, sure. Hey, according to the house, the value has gone up 2.5% in the last 6 months.
Right.
Yes? I hear you, yes? Oh, and there's a top-rated school 0.4 miles away from here.
So they've got Zoopla in the spirit world, have they?
Moving on, the bathroom's nice. Know what you're doing. Start your property search with Zoopla.
Dating can be time-consuming, and when you're busy, it can be hard to meet someone new. Hello You makes dating simple. Sign up for free at helloyoudating.com. It starts with hello.
Ian Payne on LBC.
Well, you can call me 0345 6060973. You can call me what you like as long as it's not defamatory. We're talking about the Army and whether or not women and men should fight alongside each other because the US Army's appointed its first ever female frontline commander. More of your calls, text, tweets and emails on that in just a second. First of all, I make no apologies for returning to our very lively subject of the first hour of this programme between 3 and 4 when we talked about Ken Livingstone, what he said today, no apology, no backtracking, says he regrets if he's caused offence, but he says, he's not going to apologise for statements of fact, but I'm wondering how damaging this is to the Labour Party, and whether or not it's all a plot, Ken Livingstone said today on LBC. It's all a plot, he said, by the Blairites to try and get rid of Jeremy Corbyn. So let's speak to someone who, I think it's fair to say, is slightly on the right of the party, can I say that? Tom Harris, former Labour MP, director of Scots Votes Leave and Telegraph columnist. What have you made of what Ken Livingstone said today, Tom?
Well, you're right to say that I'm on the right of the Labour Party. I think, the idea that this is some kind of conspiracy to topple Jeremy Corbyn, I wish that were the case, but there's unfortunately no evidence. This is something that, a disaster that Ken has entirely made himself. Nobody was talking about Adolf Hitler, for God's sake, until he mentioned him. And suddenly you've got just a perfect storm that involves the Labour Party, the Jewish community, Adolf Hitler, and Israel. Who the hell wants to talk about all of that?
What did you think of John Mann's introduction to Mr. Livingstone and his behaviour?
I think John, I saw the footage of John following Livingstone into Millbank and in a very loud voice describing, giving Ken a fairly accurate description of himself, of Ken. Nothing that John said, I think, was particularly untruth.
Just for anyone listening, Millbank is the area where all the journalists at Westminster do their interviews. No, not at all, because I didn't know this until I joined ITV a few years ago, and it's basically where everyone goes. So Mr. Mann knew that there'd be cameras and microphones there, didn't he, Tom?
He did. John. I've known John for a long time. He knows how to get a bit of publicity. On this particular occasion, he used that talent to pretty good effect by excoriating Livingstone, who frankly deserves it. He really does. He's just an attention seeker. He doesn't care. Because he's not a candidate at these elections, he doesn't care that he's thrown a bomb into the Labour Party's election campaign.
Do you think the Labour Party is anti-Semitic?
No, I don't. The vast majority of members are not, but on the far left of the party there is a huge amount of tolerance for anti-Semitism because of its association with the more staunch critics of Israel. So, for example, if you're at a Stop the War demonstration and you're marching alongside an Islamist, and we already know that Jeremy Corbyn considers Hamas, which is a terrorist organisation, but Jeremy considers it a very an organisation of social workers fighting for social justice. But Hamas has it in its founding principles that they want to kill all Jews. Now, if someone who supports Hamas is walking in a Stop the War demo next to these far left trots and anarchists, there is this tendency to try to find common ground and tolerance for each other's views, when in fact what you should be saying to anyone with those views is, you are absolutely wrong and I'm not going to associate myself with you. But Ken has never done that.
Tom, thank you very much. Tom Harris, former Labour MP, director of Scots Vote Leave. He's a Telegraph columnist as well. The football results today, well, 2 matches still going. Everton beat Bournemouth by 2-1. They're still playing at St James's Park when Newcastle are in severe trouble at the bottom of the table, having a good day. They're 1-0 up against Crystal Palace. That's Alan Pardew going back to Newcastle. Full-time score, Stoke 1, Sunderland 1. Well, Sunderland also in the mire at the bottom. They were actually trailing Stoke by 1-0 when they got a penalty in the 93rd minute, and Jermaine Defoe, who else, equalised. That could be a vital point for them. Aston Villa were winning. They're already relegated, but they've just conceded 2 quick goals. It's still Watford 3, Villa 2. Still playing there. West Brom 0, West Ham 3. Great result for the Hammers today. And Arsenal playing Norwich at 5:30. Remember, tomorrow, Leicester playing at Man United. If Leicester win that game, they will win the title. So as it stands, the table looks like this. Villa down with 16 points. Norwich playing later 31. Sunderland with that point 32. Newcastle, if they hold on, still playing, will have 33 points, but they'll only have 2 games left. Sunderland will have 3. Right, let's get final calls on this subject of women in the armed forces. No objection to the news that the US Army has appointed its first ever female frontline commander. I still need to be convinced that men and women can fight alongside each other in battle and all that entails, not necessarily on the front line, and you wouldn't question any woman's professionalism. Possibly the physicality of it, I'm not sure. But it's the downtime that I'm worried about and the problems that might create within the context of a unit. Protecting someone that you've been having a relationship, I don't know. I've not been in the military, maybe it wouldn't happen. It just seems to me you're asking for trouble. Brown is in Croydon. Hello, Brown.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Nice getting your show. Yeah, I'm just saying, currently serving right now, and I got a lot of female soldiers around me. Not in the infantry, but they alongside work with us and been on many tours, and I have female soldiers there, a different regiment, and they provide a good service. Downtime, same way they make the plans with us, just as the lads, and so I don't have a problem with that. So I think they're looking in it too much to think after the downtime things gonna happen. If you're in a war situation, nobody have nothing to think about anything after downtime. Just could go and survive.
So
come back home.
Let's picture the scene. So you're in Afghanistan. Of course, there's a lot of combat, and of course, there's a lot to be involved with when you're fighting the enemy. But there are times, and I've heard it from soldiers, who, when you get bored, when there's nothing to do, are we not asking for trouble? Are we not creating, let's face it, relationships that could untie the sort of the string that keeps the unit together?
No, because I'm talking of my personal feelings and all what I've been through. Been to Afghan, I've been to Iraq, okay? And I never go there and have a downtime. As I said, I'm a frontline soldier, and if we're the frontline soldier, we're not thinking about downtime after. We're thinking about getting ourselves home, do a proper job with the British Army, for the British Army, represent ourselves to show that, yes, we are there, we are firm, we know we have principle, so we have no time to think about that. Only thing, getting home, getting safe, get back to our loved one.
Okay.
It is really strict in the army.
Thank you, Brown, who doesn't see any difference, therefore, between being in the army and being in a job where women and men work alongside each other. That may be the tenets of our final call. Sorry, you've only got about a minute, Paul, in Glasgow. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to know, I'm really flabbergasted by your lack of faith that men can control themselves.
I know men.
I'm a gay man, and we've allowed gay people and homosexuals in our armed forces for a long time. Do you have a problem with gay men fighting alongside gay men and the downtime and the sexual tension as you put?
No, because I'm saying I'll guess, but the minority of people in the army and the military, if they're gay, would be gay. Whereas if you put men and women in, most of them will be heterosexual, and the chances of the relationship would be much higher.
I don't agree. I really don't agree. And what about the women's opinion in all this? You're very concerned about the men.
I've asked for women.
Yeah, but you're saying that men won't be able to control themselves, that men will have these feelings. There was a caller earlier that said you're an 18-year-old boy, you're bored and you're looking at an attractive woman.
Paul, I wish I'd spoken to you earlier, because I really would have a really great conversation. I'm so sorry that time has beaten us. We'll try again if we do that subject. But what about ring about our next subject? Different subjects every hour here on LBC. We're leading Britain's conversation with refugees. I want to talk about human nature this hour and whether we're actually becoming a nation that seems to have lost the ability to care. I'll give you the details of it, but we've learned today of a horrific house in Lebanon where 75 female Syrian refugees were forced into sexual slavery. This is happening when MPs here decided not to allow 3,000 Syrian children into this country. We have to help people, don't we? Surely.
On FM, online, on your mobile, and on digital radio. Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 5 o'clock, Ken Livingstone has told LBC he stands by his comments linking Hitler to Zionism, but he does regret the fallout.
I'm really sorry to Jeremy and to the Labour Party or whatever campaign. I got caught up in all of this. But, it wasn't me that started this nonsense. It was this embittered old Blairites whipping up. Labour's got an anti-Semitism.
Should you not now say, I regret bringing Hitler into this?
Well, how can I regret stating the truth?
He's been suspended by Labour ahead of an investigation into accusations his comments were anti-Semitic. Labour MP John Ashworth has told LBC party leader Jeremy Corbyn has taken the right action and Ken's comments are unhelpful.
Jeremy has quite rightly set up this inquiry led by Shadi Chakrabarti. That's an important move, and I think people should commend Jeremy. Now, my point is, Ken will get his opportunity to put his case to the National Executive. Due process will be followed. He doesn't need to keep touring TV studios and radio studios. When he keeps saying he wants to be in his garden, well, why isn't he doing his gardening there? He'll get his chance to come and put his case.
And you can watch the full interview at lbc.co.uk. The Education Secretary has been heckled by head teachers as she outlined plans for all schools in England to become academies. Nikki Morgan's been addressing their conference in Birmingham and confirmed her commitments to compulsory SATs testing for 6 and 7-year-olds. Annie Lawrence, head teacher at the Wells Free School in Tunbridge Wells, has told Ian teachers and parents don't feel they're being listened to.
Teachers are not happy about the changes that are being made. They're not happy about the assessment problems that there have been out there, not happy about the forced academisation programme, and there needs to be an outlet for people's voices.
Hundreds of anti-government protesters have stormed Iraq's parliament in protest against ongoing deadlock in approving a new cabinet. Supporters of Shia cleric Muqtada Sadr broke through barricades of the protected green zone in Baghdad after MPs again failed to convene for a vote. An elderly man has escaped injury after being hit by a train on the London Underground. It happened just before midday at Tooting Broadway, and the Northern Line was closed for more than an hour. He was released from under the train and taken to hospital, but didn't appear to have any injuries. And as things stand, Newcastle are out of the Premier League's relegation zone after beating Crystal Palace 1-0.